This video we're going to talk about 5 terrifying places in Sothoryos. I am counting the Basilisk Isles as part of Sothoryos. Some do not, but for the sake of this list I am. The continent is largely unexplored, so the places on this list may just be the tip of a very scary iceberg. The continent is covered in jungle, and sprinkled with ancient ruined cities full of ghosts. People that try to settle the continent often die, or finally decide to move before they do. Many fatal diseases and animals exist here not found anywhere else. An Archmaester wrote that 9 of every 10 men visiting the continent from Westeros will catch one or more of these diseases, and that almost half will die. So let's talk about the 5 specific places that made the list. Number 5, Skull Island. Described as a small, windswept, uninhabited rock, little is known of what goes on this island. That is, besides great piles of yellowed skulls that line the shores. The island is used as a place to offer tribute to some dark god. Pirates, after the heads of their victims' flesh rots off, deliver these skulls to Skull Island as an offering. Who is this dark god? How long have people been offering these skulls as tribute? And what exactly do they think they get in return? Number 4, Sothoryos. This is a river on the continent that flows into the summer sea. Its green waters are full of quicksands and rotting, half-submerged trees. It is also infested with tiny worms that lay eggs in the flesh of swimmers and schools of carnivorous fish. Huge crocodiles also swim in the river. They are known for overturning boats and then eating the struggling occupants in the water. Even a maester writes, "To splash in the river was to court death." Number 3, Green Hell. Green Hell, as you can tell by the name, isn't a very pleasant place. Fearsome beasts are said to dwell there. Snakes 50 feet long slither through the underbrush. Spotted spiders weave their webs in the trees, and tattooed lizards with long curved claws on their hind legs stalk the jungles. Close kin of the dragons, wyverns also exist in this area. They are described as having great leathery wings, cruel beaks, and insatiable hunger. Though they cannot breathe fire, they are said to be more ferocious than dragons. Among the different types of wyverns lives a nocturnal monster named the Shadow Wing. It has black scales and wings and attacks in darkness, almost invisible, to tear apart its prey. However, the most terrifying creature to me are the caverns in this location filled with pale white vampire bats that can drain the blood from a man in minutes. Number 2, Gagos. A ruined city on the Isle of Tears. It was originally ruled by the Gescari Empire, but the Valerian freehold captured it and renamed it. The maesters themselves call it an evil place. The Valerians sent their worst criminals to the Isle of Tears to live out their lives in hard labor. In Gagos, there were dungeons where torturers were always devising new torments. A lot of horrifying things happened here. In their flesh pits, beasts were mated with the slave women, and from the union, twisted half-human children were born. As well, maesters claim blood sorcery of the darkest sort was practiced there. Even after the doom that destroyed Valeria and most of the Valerians, the city remained. Built on slaves and sorcery, the city became rich and powerful. However, they say the stench of the city reached the nostrils of the gods, and they were punished. A plague called the Red Death emerged in the slave pens and took over the entire Isle of Tears, and then swept through the rest of the Basilisk Isles. 9 out of every 10 men died screaming, bleeding heavily from every orifice as their skins shred like wet parchment. And number 1, Yean. Yean is an ancient city built with oily black stones so massive and heavy that it would take a dozen elephants to move them. This city is said to be so evil that even the jungle will not enter. Yean has been in ruin for thousands of years, and it is believed every single attempt to rebuild or resettle the city has ended in horror. The ruins are supposedly haunted by ghouls and spiders. These brindled ghouls attack from the deep jungles. What are they? Cannibals? Zombies? Hungry spirits? No one can say for certain, though some believe they were actually the brindled men. We do know some of Nymeria's people, the Roinar, settled in this city. Sometime later, when a boat came to check on them, they found every man, woman, and child had vanished overnight. The most unnerving part of this city is the fact that despite not being populated, the jungle that grows all around it has not grown forward to touch the city. This is very unlike other abandoned cities on this continent that have all been re-invaded by the jungle. What exactly is stopping the regrowth towards this city? Which of these 5 places would you least like to visit? Do you think there are actually ghouls on this continent? All of October will be Halloween-themed Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire videos, such as Scariest Characters, Darkest Theories, etc. Release days are Sunday, Wednesday, and 1 or 2 other random days throughout the week. In November, we continue with the North and go back to our normal Sunday and Wednesday schedule. Thunderclap won the giveaway last week. He had the most likes at midnight when I checked. Thunderclap, I sent you a message, so please check your YouTube inbox.